All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down a rule that feels like it's been around forever. If you want to stop a monster, you better have some silver. But is that rule really as ancient as we think? Or is it something a lot newer? Let's find out.
I mean, you've seen it everywhere, right? Movies, books, video games, it's just a given. To kill a werewolf, you need silver. But a rule like that doesn't just pop up out of thin air. The real story behind it is this fascinating journey through history and mythology. And it all starts with silver having this really strange, kind of contradictory reputation.
For centuries, silver represented two totally opposite ideas. On the one hand, it was this symbol of purity, something almost holy. But on the other hand, it was linked to some of the worst parts of human nature: betrayal, greed, corruption. Let's start with the good side first. Way before anyone knew about germs or bacteria, people just noticed stuff. Water in a silver cup stayed fresh. Food served with a silver spoon lasted longer. To them, this wasn't science. It was basically magic. It felt like silver had this built-in power to fight off invisible evil, which made it the perfect material to ward off dark spirits and curses. But then, you have the other side of the coin. Literally. The story of Judas betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver just completely tainted the metal's reputation forever. From then on, silver was tied to treachery, to being bought, to corruption. It almost carried a symbolic curse of its own. So, this brings us to our next big clue. See, in ancient alchemy and mythology, different metals were linked to planets and celestial bodies. Gold, that was easy. It was the sun. Bright, powerful, divine. But silver? Silver belonged to the moon. It was mysterious, cold, and deeply connected to the supernatural.
Okay, so that's the first piece of the puzzle right there. In the language of folklore, silver is the moon. It's like the moon's essence, but in solid metal form. Just keep that connection locked in your mind as we bring in the monster.
And here's the second piece, the werewolf. This classic creature of the night gets its power directly from the full moon, right? The moonlight is what triggers the curse, what turns a man into a monster.
And right there, it all just clicks. You see the logic, don't you? If the werewolf is the moon's creature, created by its power, then it makes perfect sense that the moon's own metal, silver, would be the one thing that could hurt it. It's this beautiful, poetic symmetry. You're fighting the moon with a piece of the moon. Now, this idea could have just stayed a cool piece of folklore, except for a real-life event that was so terrifying, it seemed to prove the whole theory was true. Let's head over to 18th century France. For 3 solid years, this creature, which became known as the Beast of Gévaudan, just terrorized the French countryside. And it seemed unstoppable. I mean, the king sent professional soldiers, the best hunters in the land, and they all failed. This thing felt supernatural, invincible. And we're not talking about a few isolated attacks here. The scale was absolutely horrifying. We're talking over 100 people killed. This was a real-world monster hunt, and the entire region was living in constant crippling fear.
So here's the part of the story that really matters: how it ends. The legend says the hunter who finally brought the beast down didn't use some regular old bled bullet. No way. He supposedly used one cast from blessed silver. Now, whether that actually happened or not, honestly, it doesn't even matter. The story spread like wildfire all over Europe, cementing the idea of the silver bullet as the ultimate monster-killing weapon.
So the folktale was now firmly in place. But it really took the magic of modern movies to turn it from just a popular story into an unbreakable rule of monster hunting.
You know, it's funny, if you go back and look at the really old monster stories, silver isn't always the main weapon. For classic vampires, your Nosferatu types, it was all about wooden stakes, holy water, crosses. This slick modern idea of a silver bullet being the one-size-fits-all monster killer, that's a much newer invention, and we can pretty much thank Hollywood for it.
And this is the exact moment, the 1941 classic The Wolfman. This movie took all of that messy, complicated folklore we've been talking about and boiled it down to one single, unforgettable rule. The only way to kill a werewolf is with a silver bullet. It was simple, it was dramatic, and for audiences all over the world, it became the final word on the matter.
So why has this myth stuck around so powerfully for so long? Well, it's because it's not just one single story. It's this perfect storm, a fusion of ancient beliefs, historical events, and modern pop culture, all pointing in the same direction.
So let's just recap the whole journey. It starts with ancient people noticing silver's purifying effect and seeing it as a weapon against evil they couldn't see. Then, mythology connects it directly to the moon, the very source of a werewolf's power. Then, a real-life monster hunt in France seems to offer hard proof. And finally, Hollywood takes that legend and makes it a universal law for everyone.
When you put all of that together, all those powerful ideas merging into one, silver just stopped being a metal. In our collective imagination, it became the weapon, a symbol of our defense against all the things that go bump in the night.
In the end, the story of the silver bullet really shows us that the strongest myths aren't just simple stories. They're like a tapestry woven together from all these different threads of history, science, and belief. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other rules that we just accept as true are actually just ancient stories that we've all quietly agreed to believe in?